I know I'm on vacation. I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you shit for it because I can. Vacation is for you to walk away, take a deep breath, ignore emails.
The problem is I mean, we've got the podcast to record.
Oh, that's important. You need
and
to
then
come in
I've
for
got
that.
I've got my countdown that runs on the weekend that I've got to do that because it's a weekly updated thing. It's not like I can run last week's.
Yeah.
So I figure as long as I'm not dealing with my normal workload that's like all stressful, then I'm fine.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Just with that said, like, I would like to believe you enjoy this.
Yes.
You
Wait, the podcast or my life, my career, all of it. I enjoy all
I
of
would
it.
say both.
Yes,
right? but and like the top 20 countdown, so it's like work, but it's not fully like work for you.
Right. That's
so
why I don't have a problem
so it's
coming
okay.
in and doing it. Yeah,
okay.
because I'm not dealing with like the other stresses. So
Uh-huh.
I'll come in for a few hours. Normally I would do it like after hours when no one is here.
Yeah.
But of course we record the podcast early in the morning. You got to screw this entire thing up for me. So
what I do. What I do.
So back from LA, back on East Coast time, back with an amazing episode of This Is Us last night.
Oh God.
We will totally spoil that coming up. I ran into Danny Trejo.
Him or his tacos?
Treja? I forget. Now that we're not interviewing him, I forget how it says.
Trejo.
No, I think it's
Trejo.
Okay. I don't
Trust the Mexican.
Okay, I trust you.
The Mexican.
I trust you, which, by the way, if you missed our interview on the podcast last week, it's a great interview because he talks about this actress that he said he would rob a bank for.
It was Penelope, right?
No, it wasn't Penelope. No, it wasn't Penelope.
Who was it?
So make sure to check out last week's episode of the Totally Spoiled podcast. Brian Fink, at Brian Fink, April, at April, on air. Thank you so much for following and subscribing to the Totally Spoiled podcast. And, of course, on the smart speaker.
Oh, yeah.
You can say, hey, Alexa, play the Totally Spoiled podcast, and you can listen that way. Before we get into last night's episode of This Is Us, I kind of want to give a little behind the scenes of the Grammys. Because that's what I was in LA for over the weekend.
Yeah, I want to hear about it.
Have you ever been to an award show?
I've been to, oh my God, was it 2 years ago? It was like the 3 years ago. The Latin Grammys in Miami.
And how was it?
It was good. I mean, I didn't really have behind the scene access. I kind of went as like a fan. But it was really neat. It was really neat just to kind of be exposed to it because it's like a concert but a different level.
Right. Well, well, let me stop you really quick in saying that I did not have behind the scenes access.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we were literally sitting. So the Staples Center is a huge building.
Uh-huh.
We were holding up the wall.
Nice.
We were the last row in the 300 level.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were in the building.
Yeah. But it's exciting.
You can attest to this. Everybody thinks like it's such an amazing thing. And don't get me wrong, it's an incredible experience, but it's not really that amazing.
It's also incredibly long, or at least for my was it for
yes.
you too? Yeah, there's a point where I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to go.
Because even when you're watching on TV, it's like, oh my God,
incredibly
how long is this? Yeah. So imagine like being there live. So we got there I think it was around 3 or 3:30 West Coast time because it starts at 5 o'clock West Coast time.
Right.
And we did have access to get in to be dropped off, like closer. I did have that. We had to go through insane security, like dogs sniffing under and looking under the car and looking in the trunk. And we didn't know what that was for.
Yeah, what was it for?
Michelle Obama was there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had no idea.
I was going to say, you've gone to other shows like this. Is this
and it wasn't,
I was going to say, is this a commonality?
Yeah, it wasn't like this.
I didn't think so.
And we were like, wow, this security is insane. Like, I'm telling you, like, you pull through a line, you turn your ignition off, they put mirrors under your car, they looked in the trunk, they had the drug-sniffing dog. It was crazy. We're like,
shoot, were you crossing the border? Were you going to my motherland?
I was looking for Danny.
Yeah, okay.
No, that was inappropriate. So I didn't run into Danny Trejo, I ran into him at the airport. I didn't even go to his restaurant when I was in LA.
Are you kidding me? I'm so disappointed right now. I'm so disappointed.
One of my points going into this LA trip was go to Danny Trejo's restaurant. And
yeah.
I didn't. Because you know me, I'm not a taco person.
Have you still today, or are you pulling my leg? You've never had a taco?
Nope.
A burrito, a soft taco, a hard taco, a tostada, tostada?
No. But I was leaving. I was coming back to Tampa, and I was gonna actually get some Chick-fil-A, but the line was too long, and I turned around, and there's Danny Trejo on the wall. There's a Danny Trejo at LAX
on the wall. That's the key.
Well, you saw the picture, right?
No, of course I
With
did.
him standing in the background.
That's why I was like, "What the f?"
I'm like, Danny's got my back. It's a huge mural.
Oh, literally.
It's a huge mural
it
of
was
him.
Awesome.
It's
awesome.
really cool. So back to the Grammys. So you have to be in which you can also attest to. You have to be in your seats by like 4:30.
Yeah.
Which is about a half hour before the show starts.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get in your seats and once the show starts, no food.
Yeah.
They cut the food off. So I went last year in New York and we learned that the hard way. Like, I was starving during the show.
They almost treat it like a gala.
Kind of.
Absolutely. From the way you dress to kind of the procedure. It's like just a gala with an additional huge production and show.
Well, we smuggled chocolate chip cookies in and gummy bears this time.
Making me proud.
Because we knew that it was going to be a long show, and we knew that we were sitting in the last row, and, what are the chances that they're going to check there? But what's crazy is, like, even sitting in the last row, I think tickets were like $250.
Doesn't surprise me. That's insane, though.
You know what?
Insane.
If you get the chance to go for free, then yeah. But if you're going to pay like $250 to sit like against the wall,
I'll watch it at home.
Yeah, nah.
I'll watch it at home.
Did you watch it?
I went back and watched snippets, like recaps and on YouTube. I had family stuff actually that night, so I couldn't, and I haven't been able to go back and actually watch the recording. But I did see the opening show, and I thought it was incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
I don't know. Now, are you talking about Camila, or are you talking about the ladies coming out?
All of it.
Oh, okay.
All of it.
I don't know how it seemed on TV, but literally, Michelle Obama, that was pretty much as loud as it got all night. Like, she got the biggest ovation. I think a couple of the other performances later on got a standing O as well, but it was not. I mean, literally, Michelle Obama starts speaking, and the place erupts. And you can't hear the rest of her speech in there because that's how loud the crowd is.
From excitement and emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome having Michelle Obama there.
It wasn't expected, though.
No.
It was not announced that she was going to be there.
No, that was a
sure it was.
surprise.
Yeah, I was sure it was a mixture of emotion and also excitement and just like what is going on right now.
But just to point out the difference between the Grammys and other award shows, like BTS was there, and BTS is. If you don't know who BTS is, they are an insane K-pop group that the fans are intense. Everybody loves them. Wasn't really a pop for them there. Like, they came out on stage. It wasn't even like...
You're talking about just from the perspective of being in the building.
Yeah.
Really?
It wasn't that loud. Now, I don't know if they, like, funneled extra applause in on TV, but it wasn't that loud. And I heard that, I think they either performed or whatever during... Maybe like the Billboard Music Awards, I think it was, and you couldn't hear in the place during that performance.
Well, I mean, you've heard it. I've yet to go to one of their shows, but we have a employee here who works part-time promotion.
Carolina.
Yeah,
ran into her in the airport.
Wait, really?
She was on my flight.
What?
Yeah, I tweeted about leaving, or I think I posted on Facebook or something, and she hit me up. She's like, "I am on your flight."
Get out! What was she doing?
Her and her friends who do a podcast were meeting up in LA to celebrate, I think, somebody's birthday and record their podcast together.
Dude, that's awesome!
She was like at the back of the plane. I had
no
idea. I'm like, I even went to the back of the plane to use the bathroom. She's like, I was out the entire flight.
Oh,
I didn't see her.
My God!
Yeah, so
because she's a huge fan.
K-pop,
and from her, I've known and learned so much. Even when I took a trip out to Asia last year, I mean, you saw their stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And you hear about how such a devoted and huge following they have from their fans.
They absolutely do.
They love them.
And I can tell you that
So
from experience,
supportive.
from playing BTS's song with Steve Aoki on my countdown and on the radio. Their fans are incredible. Absolutely.
Wow.
The Army is incredible. So it's so surprising that being at the Grammys and there was really no pop for them. Yeah, it was really weird.
Maybe different audience, different age group, different
definitely
demographic.
But
maybe.
Yeah, I guess the Grammys is more of an older demographic.
Yeah,
I guess so. You know, one of the nice
is.
things about watching it on TV is, you know, during commercials and everything, you can like get up for a snack, you can walk around the house, play with your cats. Hell, you could even
You were struggling there, buddy, weren't you?
Oh my God.
Oh my.
During commercials, it's just like, okay, how much longer we got to this thing? I mean, you're literally like twiddling your thumbs, or like us posting on social, and that's really all you're doing. Like the director is like yelling at people to get out of the aisles because people are going to be coming through there. He's telling you how long is left till they're back on TV, but it's boring.
Oh, yeah, it's an ordeal. It's a full-on ordeal.
And you also, one of the other cool things about being there is you get to see kind of when the speeches are done, what happens. Like, for example, Cardi B was up there giving her speech, and like right after she got done, somebody fainted in her entourage that was on stage.
I heard about that. There's a lot of tweets going on about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my tweet got included on TMZ. I just want to throw that out there right now.
I can't with you.
I'll be signing autographs after the Totally Spoiled
I
podcast
can't with
today.
you. I'm gonna start backing out of this frame right now.
Here, I'll sign you an autograph right now.
Oh God!
Who should I make it out to?
Here we go.
Who should I make it out to?
Make it out to Aiden and Tucker.
Screw them. They're not important. But that's something because you don't see it on TV, because once Cardi B is done with the speech, they cut to whatever they're gonna do.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden we see all these people rushing to the stage and like helping somebody out, and they finally got up and were able to get off stage. But that's the kind of stuff, that's one of the good things of being there live, is you see
everything.
Yeah, you see of it.
It's neat. It's very neat.
Yeah, but all in all, it's just really boring. And I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me. You know, it's an incredible experience, but I don't know if I was just tired from the parties, and because that's like what it is. Leading up is like all parties and everything.
I feel like most of the hype and excitement are in the before and after parties, if you ask me. Even from other events to that caliber, or a little less, that I enjoy most, it's not so much the event itself, it's the things surrounding it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, and I'm not much of a party person. You know, first of all, like my social anxiety, I don't like being in stuff like that. But like we went to Island Records party, and I got there late because I was out like doing touristy stuff in LA, and I get there and they're like, "Party shut down, everybody leave the property." It was in a house in the hills. It was insane.
I was going to say, that must have been awesome.
It was crazy. So like I'm walking up, Shawn Mendes is walking out. I'm like,
no big deal.
I'm like, is this real life right now?
No big deal.
So I finally got in. One of the record labels had to come and get me to smuggle me in, and then like almost all night I spent talking to Shawn Mendes' lawyer and his wife that were inside because they're Canadian.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
What?
Yeah,
what?
We were taking pictures they had an Island Records sign, and we were taking pictures, and there was a couple there that was like, "Hey, we'll take your picture if you take our picture." I'm like, "Yeah."
And it was them.
It was Shawn Mendes' lawyer and his wife, and so we started talking about Montreal and Toronto.
I'd say, so then how did that happen? Did they just introduce themselves as like, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm Shawn Mendes' lawyer"?
Actually, yeah.
Like,
because
people
they were
do
asking,
that?
well, they were asking why you're here.
Oh, why you're here, or maybe like the what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, I'm Shawn Mendes.
I was like, how did that come into conversation?
He introduced himself.
Yeah, like,
hi, I'm Shawn Mendes' lawyer. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, no kidding.
No,
but
they were incredible people. Like him and his wife were incredible people. Yeah. All right, enough about LA. Let's do some spoiling.
I'm so glad I finally have reason in my life again.
I don't know what that means. Oh, this is us.
This time I'm walking out.
Before we get to spoiling This Is Us.
Over here. There's a brick over here.
I
Are you listening?
I didn't know.
Are you watching? Yeah,
I didn't. All right, stop being extra. Get back over here.
Guys, I'm extra.
You're extra.
I'm extra in Spanish. Extra.
We should have some more Spanish.
But
in the
really,
show.
Spanish word of the day. Extra.
Before we get
English.
into last night's episode of This Is Us, which was incredible, Dirty Dancing, just a reminder, it's in theaters today. I think I'm going to go tonight. Yeah,
What's
it was
today?
February 10th and February 13th. Is it the 13th today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's in theaters tonight.
snap.
So I think I'm going to go tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, I
if you go, please let me know how it is.
I don't. Well, I can tell you how it is. I've seen it.
But it's gonna be okay. Okay. All right.
How do we even make it through a podcast together?
All right.
So
It's different, isn't it?
It's the exact same movie. They're just putting it in theater again.
I thought it was different.
What do you think is going to be different about it? They're going to dig Patrick Swayze up and have him record new scenes?
I mean, I'm okay with that.
I would be
I could
too.
relive this.
I would totally be okay with that.
Are you kidding me?
I love Patrick Swayze.
Man.
Yeah,
No
but
kidding.
it's back in theaters. So
that's
if you get
so
a chance, you can check it out tonight. I think tonight might be the last one because it was the 10th and the 13th.
Oh, jeez.
On to This Is Us.
Okay.
What did you think?
I don't know. It could have been like The Grinch. They've remade it like a third time
No, this
now.
is the original that they're putting
Okay.
back in theaters.
Okay,
So
fair
This Is Us.
enough,
What did you
fair
think
enough.
last night?
Oh my gosh. I think I feel pain and sympathy for the brother. Like I want to be angry at him as well.
Right.
Like
Nikki?
Kevin, like Kevin and his mom. But there's a side of me that has so much sympathy for him and just wants to help him.
Yeah, let's get into this. And I
Yikes.
actually remember last week I said I wasn't looking forward to this episode and I wasn't
remember.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I actually really liked this episode.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was good. And it might be because he's not going to be a recurring character from what I can tell from last night's episode, that it was just catching up on the whole thing and that storyline, but I pretty much get the feeling that storyline's done.
I would love for it to continue, but I totally get what you're saying and where you're pulling that from, because even from him continuing on with therapy, he's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot, as in like maybe one. And then when they try to bring him in, and by they, it's pretty much Kevin, to bring him into the family and kind of get him out of his trailer, he's like, no, like this is my home.
Yeah.
I don't need help and I'm not asking to leave. So it's almost like just giving history on the family and on Jack and what that situation was to inform the viewer and carry on.
Through Nikki, yeah. And then just move on from it.
I agree. We'll see. I mean, I'd like for him to stick around a little bit more, but we weren't getting clear indication about that.
And you're mentioning Kevin. All I could pretty much think about through the entire episode was, well, almost the entire episode until the end was, how has Kevin become the most responsible one? Like, he was setting everything up. He was making sure that everything was done. He was doing the research on the veterans place.
Yeah.
Like, that was it's been like a 180.
Roles have been totally reversed, because Kate was always the one that was like daddy's girl and, struggling with getting past his death even several years later. And Randall always being known as the kind and, go-to guy. And Kevin just do. Like, it's really funny, though, because it's so much like life. It's usually the ones that deflect away from the situation or don't want to deal with it and act like everything's fine are the ones that later on it's like
they pull it together.
And you see that in Kevin's character.
Did your heart absolutely drop when Rebecca showed up when they're eating?
I don't know if it dropped or it was more of like oh snap, I was not expecting her to be there.
I wasn't either.
But then her face and the comment about the eyes and how
he has her eyes, or he has his eyes.
Right. Like how she saw so many similarities between Jack and Nikki. I was like, ooh, this must be like rough.
Yeah, and that's why, like, literally, when it panned to her being there, my heart dropped, and I literally almost broke into tears right then. Oh yeah, that hit me hard.
Really?
I don't know why.
It just
the tear ticker right then.
It caught me off guard. What kind of like for me was, and I don't know specifically to say a tearjerker, but I felt for her, was when she started to piece together. Remember when Jack referenced he was going to be leaving out of town for like a work meeting or something?
Yeah, he lied to her about where he was going.
Well, when you see her flashbacking, you see her reference back to that point, and she's like, oh my God, he lied to me.
Yeah.
And then it all made sense as to why he came back such a mess.
Yeah.
And I think she was just, it was a tough pill to swallow for her, and that was tough. And she even references this talking to Kevin. How can I be upset, or how can I deal with the fact about being upset with a dead person?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to mention it later, but I'll skip to that now. Afterwards, I was searching hashtags, and I saw a tweet from Brenda that I didn't even think about during it, but she said Rebecca being mad at Jack for hiding Nikki when she did the exact same thing to Randall. Because Jack was hiding his brother, and Rebecca was hiding Randall's dad the entire time.
Really good reflection, Brenda.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, me neither. And it's so true, because I was upset with Rebecca about that. Like, how can you hide this from him? And Jack did.
Jack was
a different way.
Yeah.
The same thing.
I didn't even catch
good
that.
Observation.
I think our new names for each other should be Dorkburger.
Dorkburger.
Did you not catch that in the episode?
No,
last night?
I did, but I want you to elaborate on this.
No, I just think that our nicknames should be Dorkburger. I mean, that's what the kids called each other, so I think we should call each other Dorkburger.
Yeah, I think it's
the Totally Spoiled podcast with the Dorkburgers.
I think it's great.
I think it's got a nice ring to it.
Sure.
I absolutely loved the flashbacks with the kids last night. Like, those kids are such great actors.
They're awesome.
Like Randall on the phone.
Hi, I'm an adult. Can I order a pizza?
I mean,
already you're saying you're not an adult.
Hi, I'm an adult.
That was so great.
How do you try ordering a pizza like that?
So great. Yeah, please do.
Domino's Pizza.
Hi, I'm an adult. Can I order a pizza?
And then
my God.
Little Kate doing such a great job showing how enamored Kate is with her dad. Like, she is just like, you can see when he finally comes back in and pulls his crap together. How she's just like staring at him and smiling. And it's like, God, she's so in love with her dad. It's just
incredible.
And you can see why Kate is the way she is now. Yeah.
Right.
Because of how hard that was.
Right. No, she's a great actress. And not just like little girl Kate, like adult Kate as well. But you definitely see how and why she's so attached to her dad. And it's a beautiful thing. But here's the thing. While you see like her love for her father, you can also see the expectation she has for him. So when he's kind of losing it, you see this look in her eyes that's like, what's going on?
When he starts about the sequence?
Well, no, not just that. Everything leading up to that before he's finally like, sequence fight. You know, I almost thought at some point she was going to say, what's wrong with you? Or snap at him in some some way.
Yeah, I don't see her as like little Kate. I don't see her being that way to do that to her dad. Like maybe teenager Kate,
maybe,
but not little Kate.
Okay, no, you've got a valid point there, but there were quite a few occasions where it was at like, look, like what's going on? And I thought at some point, like maybe not full on snap, but was going to say something.
Right.
And on the contrary, it was actually Randall.
Yeah.
That was like, is everything okay? What's going on?
And when he sits next to him on the...
stepped outside to sit with him, like in the front porch. You know, I thought that was going to be Kate.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be Kate. It's okay that it wasn't, but I was kind of expecting it to be her.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever gone back to see your childhood home like they did?
Oh, yeah.
and was it a good experience for you? Did you get to go in? What happened?
No. Oh my God. Yeah. So when we went back, it was. You want to know what's really funny? So the family that inhabited their home was Indian. The family that inhabited our home too was Indian. And they were, I don't know if it's like an American culture kind of thing to go back and look at your childhood home. Because even when I talked about it with my mom, because my mom is the one that's Hispanic, this was like even after my dad passing away, like we three went. And my mom's like, I don't understand like why you really want to do this. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's my... I
think
don't
it's
know.
just cool to
It is.
relive the memory.
But where the house with their family on This Is Us completely changed.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. Our house was identical.
Really? Wait, did you go in?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Inside and outside. And it was almost a nostalgia, but not a good one.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, because even the reasons upon why we left that house weren't the best. The best thing about the house that I remembered was having the tree house that I built with my dad and my brother, and that wasn't there anymore. What was different was the backyard, and that's like where we played. Like, do you know the game croquet?
Yeah.
Like, I remember like where we had our croquet set. We had don't ask why it was a doggy door, but a doggy door that I used the shit out of when I was little to go between me and my neighbor's house. Yeah, like that wasn't there anymore.
I mean, you are little enough to be able to
I
get
could probably
there.
still fit through that. Let's be honest. I could probably still use it if it was there. So it was more memories of like how I missed my dad and I didn't have enough time with him.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like it's so funny, like just on that note, how certain things, even from the past, can affect you so much. Like, and you don't even think about it until you're placed at that time, like right then, there, and everything. But it was still neat. It was still a good experience. I'm glad we went. I just wouldn't go again.
Yeah, I went back to when I was at Montreal last time. I was like, I gotta see my old house, and it was a lot smaller than I remember it. Like
it felt smaller. It wasn't actually.
Well,
like,
so I didn't get to go in.
Smaller.
I didn't go in.
Okay.
I just saw it from the outside. But everything was smaller. And obviously because I left when I was a kid.
How old were you again?
Oh, God. I think the first time I left, I was 8.
And you were born there.
Yeah, I was born there.
Yeah.
And then we came down here to Florida, and then we went back when I was like 10, and then came back when I was 13. So I was going back and forth, but the entire time I was little. So going back now, like even my school that I went to looked little. The neighborhood looked little. The house just from the outside. I just have this memory because the house was like a 3-story house with a base. In my eyes, it was like a castle. And going back, it
probably because you were little?
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm
everything
saying.
Was like bigger.
And I mean, it was
interesting.
It was like beat up. It wasn't clean. It just didn't look like what I don't know. And again, I didn't go in. I didn't see the backyard. I didn't see our croquet set in the backyard or the doggy door or anything.
Whatever.
But I saw from the front. I was like, maybe this time, maybe I'll go back and try to go in.
Yeah.
And see if everything's. I think that would be so cool. Maybe it is an American. I am half American.
Know. Yeah.
So maybe it is an American thing of just wanting to go back and reliving the memories.
Yeah. Because even like when we went back to see the house, and again, this was years ago. I don't know if I said this part where we went in and the family was like, okay. And while we were in there, it was almost like a sense of like they were trying to rush us out, like, but not being mean. So then we were just like, okay, it's time to go.
Well, I mean, that's gotta be like awkward, just like in this, situation. And This Is Us, where they're like getting into like almost a fight about that night.
Right. Like how it was like one of the best nights. And
Randall's like, no, it wasn't. Yeah. So I'd imagine that it's awkward for a family to just open the door and a random person go, hey, can I come in?
I'll say this much. If that were me though, because I love being a part of like history, whether it's in my own life or like the life of someone else. And it's kind of like them welcoming you in. It's warm. I think it's nice. I feel like I would embrace it. But then again, I'm also the person that I don't think I would move into a house where anyone else has lived in before.
Really?
ever since we left that house in Miami, because I grew up in Miami, I was born in childhood-wise, raised in Miami. Ever since we left that house, I'm lying. I'm about to. Second, that house, and then the second house we ever moved to in West Virginia had been lived in, and they were old. After that house in West Virginia, every single house, because after that house is like when my father passed away, we always got a new home.
Wow.
No one ever lived in before. Like, there's more reason or logic behind that. And I've carried on to be this way too, that unless if it's a house that I'm totally in love with, I think I'll be that person that any house, like even the house I have now.
Right. Brand new construction.
It was brand new. And I think the next house, just knowing how I am, I want to make those memories solely, completely mine and or of my family if I have at that point.
I just love how you preface this with, I'm about to lie.
Because my brain is so fast. Like, I'm like thinking before the words come out of my mouth, I'm about to lie. This is not true. Let me put this disclaimer out there.
I just wish more people would do that in conversation. Like you're just in the middle of conversation.
We probably get ourselves in a lot of trouble.
I'm about to lie.
Don't take what I'm saying too seriously.
Last night's episode, there was so much emotion with it. Like the entire episode, like Rebecca walking out on Nikki when he was being a complete asshole.
Yeah.
When they kind of had the whole conversation. Nikki's "I used to be a person" speech, which was amazing. And that goes back to you saying that you kind of feel bad for him. Because of the situation that he was in.
And then going back to what you said about how he was such an ass, like just talking about Kevin,
yeah.
You know, and their family dynamic. I'm like, how dare you? Like, maybe it's not your fault 100% that you weren't involved in their lives, but to be so, I'm sorry, it seemed very judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, I just, no.
But I think it's just an old man that's set in his way and has never dealt with family before.
Doesn't make it right or wrong,
No.
but absolutely. I think that's exactly, you know, what it is. But it's that situation. It's like where I want to be angry at you and it's like, get it together. But it's like, oh my God, like I can't.
Yeah,
I feel
because of his
bad
past.
for you
Well,
know?
in the after show, Griffin Dunn, who plays the older Nikki, said that the scene and the whole situation was kind of like a grenade being thrown in Nikki's boat again. Having this family thrust upon him.
Interesting analogy.
And him having to deal with everything that's going on.
Circumstance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, my God, the ending. Oh, my God, the ending.
Refresh my memory.
The ending! With Kevin falling off the wagon?
Oh!
Refresh your memory!
I'm like, wait a minute. No, the way you said it, I was like, wait, what?
The ending!
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
Talk about grenades!
Yeah.
That was horrible. Oh my God. I was like, no, like I thought when it kept panning to him looking at something or stopping in the middle of the voicemail, I thought it was going to be like maybe a picture that he saw that Nikki had up or something. I did not see him falling off the wagon like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so painful. And in the after show, Justin actually talks about how Kevin isn't really doing sobriety right because he's not going to meetings, which you got to do. He's hopping into a serious relationship, which you're not supposed to do.
Which I'm assuming, like, him and Zoe, like, that's, right? There's
that's cleaned. That's cleared up, and they're together.
They're still marching forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that, like, it's in relation to the end, how during one of those flashbacks, he's in Nikki's trailer, house, whatever. He is drinking that freaking bottle of liquor like it's water. Do you remember the flashback I'm talking about?
No, that's the ending. Are you talking about where he hits the whiskey?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wanted to touch on that, and that's why I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh, yes. Drinking that down like it's water. I was
like a starving kid who hasn't eaten in like a year and just shoveling
famished
it.
Or dehydrated or both. I don't know what, but I was like, ooh, are we spiraling down another like dark hole? Like what's is
well,
he
I think
relapsing?
that's obviously gonna obviously he's relapsing. But I can't. I was trying to think of what the scene after would have been to think if he was drunk during that scene, but I couldn't think of the time frame of how it worked. Of course, when they were driving home with his mom,
he was just deer in headlights the whole time, which was making me kind of analyze, is he just completely zoned out, or is that the alcohol?
No,
or
I think it was because she was laying it on so hard about how proud she was, and he had this secret of falling off the wagon.
We're on
I think
the same
that's
page then.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So I posted on Facebook about everything going on, and Melly commented about how the show got her like 5 times, especially the ending. Amanda was like, how does this show make me cry every time? You'd think we'd be used to it at this point, but no, not at all.
Nope.
Heather said that it's really the only time in her life where she feels the world is silent because her and her husband just kind of shut everything off and watch. And she says that pretty much they let the emotions flow. They cry during it. Then after the episode, they wipe each other's tears. They hug it out. And then they move on and back to real life, which is kind of the way, like when Gabby was living with me and we would watch This Is Us. She would sit on the floor.
I remember you told
me
this.
I would sit on the couch and we would just be like... and then, what happens during This Is Us happens during This Is Us, and then you move on. Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm excited for next week's episode because it's going to concentrate on Beth's growing up and her family.
Yeah, I saw glimpses, and this is obviously like a sensitive spot for me because I grew up with a very deep ballet background, but prior to the glimpses of what's coming up, we never knew about any dance background, or what we're going to soon find out is a inner passion of hers.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's where it's going.
With Felicia Rashad coming into it, playing her mom.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be short-lived as well, too. I think it's just kind of like the role that Nikki played as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to go through that and kind of hopefully tie into how her and Randall either make it or don't make it.
That crossed my mind as well. Is he going to be as supportive as she was more towards the end of what's going to make her happy, and maybe a switch in gear in her profession? I don't know. We're going to find out.
I like it because it kind of takes a little breather from the big three, from Rebecca, from Jack, because the stories, we've, the entire seasons have concentrated on them. It gives us another character.
It says it in the title.
Yeah.
So now you're going to see how This Is Us gears into different portions of everyone's life and other little mini families.
I love it. I can't wait to see it.
It'll be very interesting. And then just kind of seeing that new dynamic. We clearly found out from the last episode, right, that Randall won the election. So we're going to see how that's going to affect the family dynamic.
And that should start at some point.
Yep. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. At Brian Fink, at April on air. Don't forget, follow and subscribe to the Totally Spoiled podcast so you get a little notification every time a new show is up. Thank you so much for being part of the Totally Spoiled podcast. Great.